Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. This is the exact card that we will be making. Really simple, some fun coloring in there. And this is coming from the Trimming the Town suite. So that is a stamp set on top of Coming Home. And look at that fabulous line art. I love it. That is a picture of the entire suite. And you have the paper, the stamp set, the dies, the little enamel dots, and two different kinds of ribbon. So back to the stamp set. Look at those great images. You can color with, do anything you want. And those are the die cuts with the snow slopes and the one above it with the trees. And then the two houses you see, top, middle, and bottom right with a heart in it, those are standalone dies, but there's everything in there to cut every image out, and I love that. So Wrapped in Christmas this year seems to be my go-to sentiment stamp set. We will be using the Peace on Earth sentiment. I have more blends involved. I'm going to have Poppy Parade, So Saffron, Old Olive, Pool Party, Misty, the new color, and then Soft Suede. It's been a week, so I'm kind of stressing right now. That is how we're going to be making our card. Top folding A2, 4¼ by 5½, early espresso. Our matte layer, that's coming from the Trimming the Town Designer Series paper. That's going to be 4 by 5¼ Measurements, everything over on the blog at Cindy B Designs, link underneath the description. Whisper White, 3¾ by 5 inches down. That card is from the World of Good Memories and More card pack, and that's how I got those lines, was cutting down one of those 4 by 6 memory cards. And that's how I use them, because you know I love my notebook paper, my staples, everything like that. So I'm going to pick it up right now, and we want to adhere the DSP down to the regular Whisper White cardstock, because you know our DSP is a little bit thinner than the Whisper White. So I'm taking a staple, our stapler, like the old one that's retired, but you can like grab your office stapler and do the same thing. Because like I told you, I will never make anything for you that you do not have on hand or in your own home. And there we go. You want to staple that a teeny tiny bit above the bottom there that you see. Just give that like white line. So have the images lined up on a piece of 4¼ across by 5½ down. Thick Whisper White cardstock, because we are coloring. Inked it up with Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm giving that a really good press. And then I'm going to flip the cardstock around and make sure, you know, it works. Ink it up again, just in case I mess up coloring the first time around, because, you know, we all know that's a very strong possibility. But this time I didn't do it. Leave your stamps in the lid of the Stamparatus. I'm not cleaning them. Scratch paper underneath so I don't get my mat messed up. So coloring out, super sped up. I'm taking the light So Saffron marker, and I thought I was going to do little L's around the window panes. Didn't like the way it looked, so I decided to color them all in, all the window panes. So I got 4 on the home, and then that little craftsman door in front there, and I'm just going to get all that filled in. So moving on, I'm only going to do like one of them, because you've seen it before. So I'm using both Stampin' Right markers of the soft suede for the tree trunk. That is dark Old Olive, and my ends are a little bit weird, but you know, because I use them so much, but you got to make it work. So you can see the blending that I'm doing there. I lay down the dark first, and then I will take the light and blend it out from the bottom. Yeah, skip intro, from the bottom on up, as you can see right there. Don't hesitate to alternate your tips from the blunt, what I'm using now, to the feather or fine, well, maybe fine tip, into like the regular tip. So I'm testing out that misty moonlight color to see if I can pull that off on the house. And yeah, I can. It looks okay. So I decided to color the door a bright red, and that is Poppy Parade. So I'm laying down the dark first and just giving that a really good outline around the left and the top. And I'm bringing in the light Poppy Parade, blending everything out. And I'm also doing the chimney. The top of that is dark, and then the bottom that you see right now, a little bit out of frame, is going to be a light. Now we are going to move on to the soft suede. That is dark. I'm laying that down from the top of the house. And I'm only doing like 5 little panels at one time because alcohol markers are wet, but I want to keep it wet as I blend it out. So that is the light, and I'm going to keep blending, blending, blending. Make sure it looks pretty, give it a little bit of funky vibe and feel a little bit. And, wing it, which I probably shouldn't do. And that is what we are looking like so far. So now you're just going to watch me color a little bit, and you've seen me do it before. I get a lot of requests for that as far as blending techniques go, but this Trimming the Town product suite, that is, I'm going to say, like one of my top favorites because I do like to color, and the line art in here is fantastic. And the colors are Poppy Parade, Old Olive, Pool Party, Misty Moonlight, and Early Espresso, which are some of my favorites. But there's so much that you can do with the stamp set. I would like to work with it more come like mid-November after my thing is over with and what I got to do. And I can see introducing Thanksgiving into this, summer, and I really hope this is one that carries over. You can like change the colors. It could be a new house card, everything like that. But this again demonstrates the beauty of how well and perfectly all of our products coordinate and what you can do with them just with your imagination and what's in your head, because you can't go wrong. And I found that we're like our own worst critics and beat up ourselves because it's not perfect or whatever. It's handmade. That is going to happen. But I do really encourage you to go ahead and pick up this suite. While it's still 10% off, you get all that I showed you from the catalog, holiday catalog, on page 25 for $74.25, which is a fantastic deal, of course, because you do get that discount. So I'm just now filling everything in. I am going to do the other images, even though I'm happy with what I did here and how I colored it. But, just to cut it out. So that is, the house there is in Pool Party. The other colors are the same. So I tell you to leave your stamps in your Stamparatus, because when you use alcohol markers, colored pencils, regular markers, it's going to knock out your crisp image. The black, and I like my stuff really crisp. So I lay down the stamp again, and you can see the difference there to where if you make a mistake on the line somewhere, it'll fix it for you, it'll cover it up. Great hack. Now, big shot. I'm going to die cut now. And that is our new magnetic platform. Magnets, the whole thing is a magnet. The old one, remember, you had to like arrange your dies on there and kind of hope they fit and use the tape to keep it straight and down like that. This one, you do not have to at all, so I really encourage you to pick up our new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the accessories, because all I have to do is like lay down the lines, center them up top to bottom, left to right, and they are going to stay on that magnetic sheet no matter what. And so, yeah, I'm just like kind of playing, because I'm nervous and don't want to mess it up, because I do like my coloring job there. So I'm going to crank that through. I will take the other part of it off screen because I'm not quite sure which color of house I want to use on my card or not. So that is what we are looking like so far. You can see how easy this is to do. Okay, moving on. I have mini Stampin' Dimensionals and regular size, and you can see how perfectly the minis fit there on that little tree. Well, it's a good size tree. And then I'm just going to lay a couple full-size Stampin' Dimensionals down on the back of the house. And that's why you want to use thick Whisper White, because you see how those alcohol markers bleed through. And I really hope that you can understand me, because I'm having a really bad allergy on top of it and super stuffed up. So I use my purple painter's tape to, get that down to my work surface there to keep it straight, bringing it wrapped in Christmas. The Peace on Earth and the Most Wonderful Time of the Year sentiments, they're like one of my favorites in there. And take that Peace on Earth over to the World of Good product suite in the annual catalog on page 24 on. And you can use that with like the world die cuts that we have. And yeah, skip intro again, because this was a process, because I'm distracted. So I'm bringing in our Memories More card, making sure everything's lined up on the lid of my Stampin'. I'm going to ink that up, lay it down a couple times, clean it off, and then get that adhered to the card front. But before you work with that again, you might want to give it a quick blast with your heat tool so your black ink does not smear, because it is archival ink. So now we are going to start adhering everything. I am taking that little loopy Poppy Parade DSP there, and I'm adhering it to our Early Espresso card base. Doing the exact same thing with Steel Plus with our Memories and More card, and I'm just butting them up one against the other, And I think I blow it here a little bit, where I cut my DSP too short. Okay, no, I cut that out. I cut a little bit longer this time. And so, yeah, now I want to cut it off. This is what I love about our trimmer, is that you can take no matter what end of your cardstock that you need to use and go from top to bottom without winging it so much, and butt the ends up. And that is how our image panel is looking. That is going to be put on Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that. But before I do that, I'm going to measure my ribbon there. And this is where I need help, because I don't know whether to put a bow around that, or just leave it plain, or a knot, or if I need to put some of all the trimmings, embellishments scattered about somewhere, because I feel like the left side of my project with the lines is a little bit, I'm not sure, but I don't want to crowd it up too much either. And I do have a tendency to do like a lot of cheaters knots or bows. So I'm taking the Snail Plus, putting a little teeny tiny bit on the back there, and just wrapping around the ribbon to cover up that line in between the designer series paper. Scotch tape, again, best friend, keep everything down. And that's where I'm like, do I need something? Not sure. I'm going to ask you. Taking the full-size Stampin' Dimensionals and then putting them back on that panel there, our image panel, or image and sentiment panel. And we've gone through how I run my pokey tool through the dimensional lines, to make that release paper come off a lot easier. We are in the home stretch right now. I still have a couple product boxes left that I showed you a couple weeks ago. Link is on the blog and everything like that. So now I'm adhering everything down and going to try to finish it up. And that is like pretty much our card, because again, I'm a little bit stuck what I do with the rest of this. And I could really use your help, because we all get stuck. So now I'm grabbing all the trimmings ribbon combo pack in Poppy Parade. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try and tie this bow and see how that looks. And that is where I'm not sure because it's getting kind of girly and we have masculine colors, even though you can like do both at the same time. But this one is not like, I'm going to say vibing all the way, but it's still really cute. So again, help me out. But that is what we are looking like so far. I do end up taking that bow off in the pictures. So yeah, email me, text me, whatever. Let me know what you think. And again, I do hope that you hit like and subscribe to my channel and our project today. Have a great weekend, and I will see you again next week.